Because once a seal is on the heart, no tawfiq comes. Seal means no tawfiq, no divine guidance, no divine enablement, no providence from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The rahmah just bounces off. There is no rahmah that will enter. And thus a person is left to their own utilities, their own facilities, their own ways of doing things, which the nafs will just incline towards the dunya, because that's the way we are. If it wasn't for tawfiq, we would never be able to be guided. The only thing that is keeping us guided is the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is actively guiding us. That's why Ibn Ata'illah, he says that when you do a good deed, then don't think you're doing it. Understand that it's been from divine enablement. It's a matter of tawfiq. Even a simple good deed that you consider insignificant and you think that I should do much more, but you've at least kept a fast. You've at least prayed your salat. Well, understand that this is no achievement of yours. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala giving you the enablement. Because if He didn't want you to pray, then you wouldn't even be praying. So there's many ways of looking at this. First and foremost, to understand that when we do salat, we mustn't start thinking, or when we do any good deed for that matter, we mustn't think that it's our accomplishment over somebody else, especially when it's a competition scenario. Especially when you're trying to say, I am better than so and so. People compete with each other in various different ways. A person works for the brewery. His justification, he works for a wine shop, or he serves wine, or works in an off license, or a restaurant selling beer, etc. His justification is, at least I'm not working for the bank. Riba is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has declared war against. So at least I'm not working for the bank. And the person who's working for a haram investment firm, who's involved in riba, he's saying, well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has cursed those who serve wine, who sell it, who drink it, who buy it, who transport it. 10 different people that are engaged in any kind of interaction with wine, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has cursed them. So at least I'm not like that. So this is the human way of justification. When the heart becomes corrupt, we don't see the reality. So then what we do is we allow the shaitan to justify for us. So the person working in a liquor store or in a restaurant that serves liquor is serving the liquor. It's not as bad as working in a bank, he says. And the person working in an investment, haram, bank, etc. is saying, well, it's not as bad as serving alcohol. But this is the way the humans justify for themselves. So a person who does a good deed, they should never think that this is their achievement. They should realize. So what do we do then? We realize that it's from Allah and we thank Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. If you are thankful, then we will increase you. So it's to give due right to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He is the one who has enabled us. So we must be thankful. Number one, every good deed you do, however small it may be. Shaitan is going to make you feel that if you do a few good deeds but you don't do many good deeds, and you're not as good as other pious people, Shaitan is going to make you feel useless, worthless. Yes, there's definitely a difference between the two, but Shaitan is going to make you feel useless. He's going to make you feel futile, redundant. Your job, your task, your whatever you've been doing, your achievements, they're all redundant. That's what he's going to make you feel like. But then we should focus on the fact that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had absolutely no good plan for us, then we wouldn't have even been praying. So the fact that we can even do a small good deed, the one way to look at it is that Allah still has something for us. Allah is still giving us tawfiq. And inshallah He'll give us even more tawfiq. So when we start looking at it like that, your love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grow. Your love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will increase, and that will inshallah make things much better. So it's the way of looking at these worships that is very important. Everything can take us closer to Allah if we look at it in the right way. Because Allah is part of everything. We just have to find Him in everything. Allah is part of everything. We just have to find Him in everything. And that is what really matters. That is when the heart becomes associated and connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.